Hello everybody, and welcome back to Let's Play Gabriel Knight, the 20th Anniversary Edition. Last time, we gave a little visit to Mosley to find out more about these voodoo murders, and got a little bit more information than he probably might have liked, but that's alright. We've got what we need to continue researching our book, but we want a little bit more, so let's check around a bit more. See, doesn't that look like freaking like Gotenks or something right here? Like Super Saiyan Gotenks? It does, but I think it's supposed to be a voodoo doll. Let's take a visit to the Dixieland drugstore.
Hello. Huh?
Oh, the puppy.
Bonjour, Monsieur Walker.
Bienvenue, Madame Casano. Comment ça va? How you be feeling today?
Well, I'll tell you, Mr. Walker. I'm certain someone's buried a sleep knot bag somewhere near my steps. I haven't slept a wink, not in weeks.
Now don't that beat all. I'll need some easy night candles there, no?
Do you think that would help? I do hope you're right. I said 3 rosaries this morning for Our Lady's intervention.
Rosary good, sure enough, but you buying them candles too, boy, you gonna whip any no-sleep gree-gree, I tell you for sure.
Very well, Mr. Walker. Put them on my account and send them around to my house. Oh, and there's another thing. I didn't catch her at it, but I know. Mrs. Lefebvre put stomachache powder in my tea at the last meeting of the Creole Grand Dame. I've been in misery.
Now you put 9 pinheads up in the little box. Add a pinch of graveyard dust. Put it up under her front post step. That'll turn the trick back on Miss Lefebvre, and she be the one with the bellyache. I got the pins of dust right here if you want them.
If the Blessed Virgin will grant me her protection, I'll be safe from these practitioners of evil.
Oui, madame. Though, don't hurt to be proactive neither now, does it?
Naturellement, monsieur. Merci beaucoup.
Mais non, madame. It's nothing. Au revoir.
Au revoir, Monsieur Walker.
It is amazing how much cultures have intermingled, you know, Christianity with their own sort of traditions. Like here we have Voodoo from Africa that has been intermixed with, you know, Christianity, because she says they're rosaries but also does voodoo stuff. Same in like South America, where they have, you know, the like the Mayan shamanism and everything like that, where they all of a sudden mix that with, you know, the Lord's Prayer and everything. I've seen it myself, and it is interesting. I'm sure, like, I think that like the Philippines too, they have that kind of stuff. It's everywhere. Anyway, enough of that. Let's take a look around here at the Dixieland drugstore.
The Dixieland drugstore is crammed from top to bottom with strange merchandise, some or all of which seem to be related to the practice of voodoo.
That's cool. I've been thinking about where I would want to go on vacation next, and New Orleans, this game's been making me want to go there. And I want to visit places like this, you know, not just the regular touristy stuff, but the real interesting cultural stuff.
Root bags, curio boxes, and magic candles. Sold as curios only. We cannot guarantee results.
Alright.
The poster advertises a voodoo play from last fall.
Oh, that's cool.
It's a mannequin wearing a crocodile mask.
Crocodile mask, huh?
The mask appears to be made from a real crocodile head.
That is cool.
The sign says, Special St. John's Eve Lagnia. Free bottle of lover come back to me oil, or master gambling oil with every purchase over $50.
Lagnia. My French is lousy, but everyone in New Orleans knows what that means. A little something extra.
Okay. Interesting.
The shelf holds containers of dried items, flowers, grasses, and black cat bones. On this shelf are super concentrated fixing oils and a rib cage? Gabriel really doesn't want to ask.
I hope that's not a real ribcage.
Garlic, cloves, and other dried goods and spices are collected in the bowls.
I know where to come if I ever have a vampire problem.
Oh, if only you knew.
It's nearly as old as the one at St. George's.
All right, let's look at. You know, I'm not gonna finish that sentence. Let's look at this man here.
The proprietor doesn't look especially friendly. His business probably doesn't depend on walk-ins.
I'm guessing so.
Hi there. Is this your store?
This the Dixieland drugstore. And I own it. Me. Name's Walker. Willie Walker.
Oh, lots of stuff to talk about here.
Can you tell me what you know about voodoo?
This is a novelty shop, monsieur.
You think I'm stupid? This is a voodoo shop. Look at all this stuff.
These is novelties, curiosities. If people want to think they magic, it's not my concern, you know?
Even though you just advertised it to that old lady as magic. But I'll admit, I'd go to a place and buy some interesting stuff. It'd be fun to have.
Are you telling me that you own a voodoo shop, but you know nothing about voodoo practices?
Ça n'est pas sa faire blanc.
What does that mean?
It means you should mind your own business, monsieur.
Can someone translate that? My French isn't quite up to snuff. Something about a white guy.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Caprice encore.
What did you say?
Nothing. Them killings have nothing to do with my shop, monsieur.
You just say Cabrit Saint-Croix? What does that mean?
What do you think of New Orleans?
I live here all my life, me.
What do you think of New Orleans?
If you're not from around here, monsieur, you should sign up for some tours.
That'd be fun.
What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
It's the biggest night of the year in Voodoo.
What goes on exactly?
I couldn't say.
I'm sure.
Do you know anything about animal masks?
The only one left is Willie Jr. over there, the old crocodile. He's sort of a mascot now, him.
Okay.
Do you know anything about snakes?
What kind of snakes?
The kind they use in voodoo?
Pythons, boas, so I've heard.
Really? Do you have one?
Are you crazy? What would I want with a python?
Why wouldn't you want one? That'd be a nice pet.
What did you mean when you said Cabri Sanko?
I didn't say that.
You did. I heard you say it.
You heard wrong, monsieur. I said no such thing.
That customer of yours, the little old lady.
Customer?
The woman I saw in here, Madame Casino, you called her.
I don't talk about my customers to men who come in off the street.
That's actually understandable, yeah.
Tell me about yourself.
My name's Willie Walker. I own the place.
How did you get into this kind of business?
Now, why should I discuss my business with you, man?
Okay, I was just curious, jeez.
So, this is a voodoo store, huh?
Voodoo? No, man. This is a curio shop. The things you see here from local folklore. None of it real, I tell you for sure.
What about all these magic oils and powders you're selling? Aren't they a part of voodoo?
Read the label, man. We make no claims. Sold as curio only. It mean what it say, no? These are novelties, not voodoo.
If you say so.
So, do you get many tourists in here?
We, all the time. They want to buy a bottle of money-drawn oil or wang a bag to take home with them.
How's business?
About like always.
I'm a businessman too. I own a bookstore here in the corner.
I don't really care, me. I got a store to run.
This guy is not very personable.
Have you always lived in New Orleans?
My papa, and his papa, and his papa, all the way back to the days of Marie Laveau, we've been living here.
Interesting. Marie Laveau, who's that?
So, does any of this stuff actually work?
You crazy, man? These are just curios, novelties for...
Yeah, we already said that. Yeah, okay.
About Willie Jr. Would you be willing to let him go?
Maybe. For $100.
100? You gotta be kidding.
Me and Willie Jr. are very close now. I couldn't part with him for less.
That's too bad, but yeah, we don't have that kind of money. And it is a real crocodile, so I guess 100 is not too bad. Oh well. Anyway, alright, 58 points, that's what we want. So we've done all we can here. Where else can we learn about voodoo since that guy was so tight-lipped about it? We didn't learn anything there, practically. There's the Voodoo Museum down here.
Welcome, my friend. Hello. I am the proprietor, Dr. John. If you have any questions, I would be happy to assist.
Great. My name is Knight, and I'll probably take you up on that.
Voodoo Museum. I'd love to visit a place like this, too. Yeah, in the original game, this guy was voiced by the guy who plays Lieutenant Worf. And I am always forgetting that guy's name, but you can look it up. Let's take a look at this guy.
The street drummer has settled outside the museum.
Alright. What else do we have? A shrine.
The Voodoo Shrine is filled with items that both fascinate Gabriel and also make his skin crawl.
Oh, I can see why.
Will that look sacrilegious?
Yeah, like I was saying, a cross mixed with voodoo stuff. It's very, very interesting.
They lend a certain psychotic ambiance, no? This coffin is so small.
Yeah, that's a bit morbid there.
A waste of some perfectly good wine, if you ask me.
Anything else? Voodoo doll?
It wouldn't be much of a voodoo museum without a voodoo doll.
Guess not. Any shrunken heads in here?
Magenta moonbeam. Voodoo Inn.
Yeah, let's keep that in mind. Alright, let's exit out of there. With this very conspicuous switch here.
It's an electrical switch.
What does it do?
What does this do?
Turn that thing off.
Oh, sorry.
Jeez, look at the right, that
Air
snake.
conditioning, you see.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, you see on the right, the snake was kind of going crazy there for some reason. That's interesting. Oh, actually, we'll want to look at this again. There's something,
The Voodoo Shrine is
yeah. We actually want to take this. I almost
a
forgot
flyer
that.
advertising Magenta Moonbeam, a local voodoo inn. Her parlor is on the corner of Orleans and Dauphine.
So yeah, we'll keep that in mind. And I don't think we can actually get the location until we take the flyer. So make sure you do that.
Flickering candles lend an appropriately spooky atmosphere to the museum.
Indeed.
An official voodoo wishing stump. Rub it and make a wish, a card says.
Funny, I say the same thing to women.
Dude, come on, man. Come on. You're crazy.
An authentic-looking pole marks the center of the room. Authentic what? Gabriel isn't sure. Large, elaborate drums occupy a corner of the museum. Something about the shape of that knife gives Gabriel the creeps.
It's almost like we've seen a knife like that before.
The back wall displays various voodoo items, such as offerings of fruits to the voodoo deities.
Oh, anything else?
The back, an African statue laden with decorations.
Now why does that remind me of Grace?
That's a good question. I don't know why it would.
The back wall displays bottles of liquor and wine. The back, lots of burning candles.
See, anything else?
The back, a gaudy shell necklace. The The back wall. A Cupid statue.
It's nice to know Voodoo has a romantic side.
Yeah, now they're mixing African voodooism with regular Catholicism. What was yeah, whatever, Catholicism, and then Greek mythology as well. Orthodox Catholicism. That's what I was trying to find.
The back wall. Offerings of fruit.
Okay, so that's all there is there.
That must be Marie Laveau.
Must be.
Gabriel doesn't recognize the museum's flags. A beaded gourd is on display. A very large, very formidable-looking snake is secured in a plexiglass cage.
And it looks like that's about it. So let's look at Dr. John.
Dr. John is a huge man. If his manner weren't so pleasant, he'd be intimidating.
Well, he seems nice enough. Oh, what does it say about wall here?
The back wall
Oh.
an African...
Okay.
Now why does that
So I guess the wall extends all the way over here. Let's talk to this nice fella.
Could I ask you a few questions?
That is why I am here.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
Historical voodoo, or the voodoo currently practiced in the city.
We'll just go down the list.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
The killings in the newspaper. I know they have nothing to do with true voodoo in New Orleans.
Alright.
What do you think of New Orleans?
It is the only city in the United States, as far as I am concerned.
There are a couple more, I think. I might be mistaken.
What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
It is one of the important ceremonial nights in voodoo.
He's very succinct, but at least he's informative.
Do you know what caprice and call means?
I fear my French is not all it should be, Mr. Knight.
Do you know anything about snakes?
Ah, you have perhaps noticed the museum snake, Mr. Knight? They are beautiful creatures. Do you not agree? And the tourists seem to associate them with voodoo.
Well, it's maybe because they are associated with voodoo. But they are beautiful creatures. I like snakes.
Do you know anything about animal masks?
I used to have some antique African totem masks, but they were on the point of disintegration, so I removed them.
Okay.
Tell me about yourself.
Me?
Yes, if you don't mind.
What is it you wish to learn?
Why did you open a voodoo museum?
The subject has fascinated me all my life, and I wanted to help preserve the cultural heritage it represents.
What kind of background in voodoo do you have?
Let us just say I cut my teeth on it, Mr. Knight. It is in my blood.
Do you do anything besides run the museum?
No, the museum does not make me a rich man, but my material needs are simple. I prefer to focus on my one true interest in life.
Oh. That's a pretty nice way to live. Just, you know, I'm pretty simple myself, I think.
What are your own religious beliefs?
My beliefs are too personal and too complex to discuss with a layman, Mr. Knight.
Oh, alright.
Just tell me anything.
I am originally from the West Indies myself, you know.
Really? What brought you to New Orleans?
I was drawn here for personal reasons.
Okay.
Just tell me anything.
I am a vegetarian.
Really? I can't imagine living without meat.
That must be the hunter in you, Mr. Knight.
Oh, that's some foreshadowing right there.
Just tell me anything.
I am not an easy person to get to know. I am a very private man.
Isn't that unusual for someone in the museum business?
Not at all. My displays speak for me.
Just tell me anything.
Not everyone can come see the museum, so I occasionally do public speaking on the subject of historical voodoo.
Anything coming up that I might attend?
No. But then you have me all to yourself right now, do you not?
Good point.
Actually, I can't think of a thing.
Then let us discuss something else.
So these are in yellow, so you know they're important.
Tell me about historical voodoo.
Very well. I will start at the beginning, Mr. Knight, and will go on from there at your prompting.
Sounds good.
As you may know, voodoo is a grassroots religion, formed by the mixing together of many different African tribal religions and Anglo religions, such as Catholicism or Protestantism. In other words, it is a religion born of the African slave trade. But African slaves were imported not only by the United States, but also into the West Indies, with the French and Spanish-ran plantation islands. Prior to 1803, the New Orleans area was owned by France. The French Creole in those days owned many African slaves. But the Creole did not permit their slaves to gather, giving no chance for voodoo to breed here natively. The Creole also knew enough about the corrupted pagan practices of the West Indies slaves to ban the importings of slaves from that region.
So how did voodoo come to New Orleans?
After the Louisiana Purchase, American legislators relaxed regulations. Slaves were permitted to gather. The Americans also removed the ban on West Indies slaves. Around the same time, a slave revolt occurred in Santo Domingo, what is now Haiti. Between the lifting of the ban and the Haitian revolt, West Indies slaves began pouring into New Orleans. Some of them were free people of color, freed or escaped slaves. Some came with their white owners who were fleeing from the revolt.
What happened when the West Indies slaves got here?
They brought voodoo with them. The native slaves were more than enthusiastic about embracing it. It gave them power, Mr. Knight, if only in the form of a communal bond. Among the first meeting places were the Bayou St. John and the shore of Lake Pontchartrain. The early voodoos were heavy snake worshippers, worshipping the one they called the Great Zombie.
So now we're getting some interesting information. He's saying how we have the Bayou St. John and Lake Pontchartrain where they used to do their practices. We just had a voodoo murder on Lake Pontchartrain, along with a snake scale. So whatever information that we're getting that's saying that these have nothing to do with actual voodoo might be a bit mistaken.
Tell me more about historical voodoo.
By 1817, the voodoo activities were beginning to cause fear among the white slave owners. An ordinance was passed to forbid slave gatherings except in designated public areas at designated times. The time was Sunday afternoons, and the place, Congo Square. The slaves and free people of color gathered to dance simulations of their voodoo dances, right in sight of Creole society. Of course, they also continued to meet in private for the real thing.
It's also interesting, so the stereotypical voodoo that we might often see is just what was put on show for people, while the actual voodoo is something that was sort of behind the scenes.
Tell me more about historical voodoo.
There were a variety of kings and queens at first, voodoo priests and priestesses. But from about 1830, a single power emerged. This was a voodoo queen named Marie Laveau. Marie Laveau ruled voodoo in New Orleans for many years.
That is interesting. Let's ask about her.
Tell me about Marie Laveau.
There were actually two Marie Laveaus, mother and daughter. Most people thought they were the same woman. Her continued youth added to the mystique. The original, the mother, was also known as Widow Paris. It was she that began the empire.
Tell me more about Marie Laveau.
The Laveau tomb, where one or both of the Maries are believed to be buried, is in St. Louis Cemetery No. 1. It is a popular shrine for practitioners and tourists alike. I myself take tours through the cemetery on a regular basis.
Really? Do you have any running this week?
No, but the cemetery is open to the general public as well.
You know what? One of these days I'm going to go visit New Orleans, and I'm going to visit all these different places, take pictures with them, and share them with y'all.
Tell me about current voodoo.
Many people think of voodoo in terms of magic spells or gree-gree. That kind of practice is actually called hoodoo and is only a part of true voodoo. Voodoo, the religion, has a strong following in New Orleans. In fact, it is growing quite rapidly. There are several voodoo churches or temples in the city, and others all across the United States. African Americans see it as a tradition all their own. Whites, and there are many in the religion, are attracted to it because they think it is exotic. I personally am more interested in the history of voodoo. Some of the new movements are copying Haitian or even African voodoo. But it is the voodoo of New Orleans that I find so intriguing.
I would guess that it's more authentic, since this is stemming from like people originally from the areas where it was originally practiced.
So how's the museum business?
Those who truly seek to understand are few, Mr. Knight. But even one can be an audience.
Sounds about like my shop. So where do you pick up all this stuff?
Oh, here and there. We accept donations of any pertinent items.
That's cool.
Do you ever get any wackos in here?
You mean besides yourself?
Yeah, besides me.
I do not care to make those kinds of judgments, Mr. Knight. All are welcome here.
You're a big guy, aren't you? You work out, play sports?
I do not play basketball, if that is what you want to know.
Who, me? No, you just look like such a natural athlete.
I do find ways of keeping fit, Mr. Knight. After all, our bodies are temples.
You sound like Grace. I should get the two of you together.
Is Grace your wife?
No, she just acts like it. So what do you think of our summer weather? Have you ever seen it so overcast or so muggy?
It is unpleasant. The heavens are not pleased these days.
You really talking about weather right now?
Nice outfit.
I prefer simple cotton to dead flesh, Mr. Knight.
I'll have to remember that.
Yeah, very subtle there, buddy.
This is quite a place you have here.
Thank you, Mr. Knight. I have dedicated myself to the preservation of this unique culture. It is gratifying to see others reap the fruits I have sown.
Oh, we're done with that.
What exactly is hoodoo?
Hoodoo refers to magic folk traditions of the South. Hoodoo is a bastard of voodoo. Many of the gree-gree are similar, but hoodoo does not have the religious aspects of voodoo.
And that's all we have to say there. So we've gotten some interesting information. Where else can we go to further explore voodoo? Find out next time on Let's Play Gabriel Knight, the 20th Anniversary Edition. Thank you for watching and have a good day.